The 2019 Formula One season kicks off this weekend in Melbourne, Australia. And before the cars line up on the grid for the first race of the year, we wanted to know who has the best and worst car livery. So to find out, we asked 10 of our journalists, many of whom were able to watch trackside during testing in Barcelona last month, for their opinion. So here's the verdict based on a point system from the worst to the best. In 10th place and receiving the wooden spoon is Williams. It has a new look for 2019 and replacing the iconic martini stripes with its new blue and white rocket color scheme didn't favor with our guys. Our F1 reporter Scott Mitchell says, "I don't dislike the colors they've used, but the design is too bland. It could have been made a lot meaner, and it says a lot that the drivers' race suits and livery of the trucks look better." Moving on to P9 on the grid, we have Racing Point. The former Force India team has had a big rebrand behind the scenes, but the car retains its Pink Panther look for 2019, but with BWT being joined by title sponsor Sport Pesa, it now has a half-and-half livery that's pink and blue. Autosport.com editor Matt Beer says, "An entirely pink BWT car is absolutely fine, as the last 2 years of Force Indias and a host of junior single-seaters prove. A blue-based Sport Pesa livery would probably be excellent too, a bit mid-90s Williams. But this looks like two liveries having an argument with each other on one car." Harsh words, Matt, but fair. In P8, we have McLaren, which has given its classic orange papaya color scheme a makeover of sorts this year. Despite its lowly position overall, Motorsport.com's resident Russian Oleg Karpov is a fan, saying, "I liked it last year already just because of the papaya orange and being a huge fan of F1 history. I think it was a nice move from McLaren bosses, but I think it was still a bit boring. With a bit more blue, it just looks nicer. I like the way it's combined with fonts and the whole graphic design. Driver suits look cool as well. All in all, it's just fresh." Moving on to P7, we have Renault, a team who finished 4th in the Constructors' Championship last year, but didn't quite score as many points on our poll as they did on track. It retains its predominantly black livery for a second season, but Motorsport.com's global editor-in-chief Charles Bradley is not a fan and wanted a more classic color scheme that harked back to its glory days. He says all those epic canary yellow cars of the 1980s, the lovely sky blues of the 2000s, ignoring the ING atrocity, and it's just black with yellow piping. I thought the French were meant to be good at this. Sacre bleu, Charles. On to P6, we have the rebranded ALFA-ROMEO Racing, which has replaced the Sauber name from the sport. Despite the renaming, the livery remains pretty similar to last year's, which likely cost it points in our poll. However, Autosport's editor-in-chief Andrew Vanderberg loves it. There's something about a proper deep red, scarlet as Murray Walker would say, that just looks right on an F1 car. By blending it with Sauber's recent traditional clinical white, it creates a look that's both a nod to the past and a statement of future ambition. And it's got a snake on it. At P5, we have the Haas F1 team. It's a bold new look after the grey cars of previous seasons with a new black and gold livery channeling a pseudo-JPS Lotus look. But it didn't impress our jury enough to trouble the very top positions, and among the disappointed journos was Motorsport.com Netherlands reporter Erwin Yegi, who says the prospect of a black and gold livery returning to the Formula One grid made for some high expectations of what the new Haas car was going to look like. Although a teaser that was put on Twitter by new title sponsor Rich Energy late November was very promising, the end result turned out to be quite dull, with just some gold accents here and there, while there was the potential of Haas coming up with one of the most striking liveries in recent history. P4 on our grid, we have Red Bull. After a bold look at the launch of the RB15, Red Bull reverted to its traditional color scheme, which was good enough for 4 double world championships, of course, but perhaps we're growing weary of that, as Glenn Freeman says. Red Bull teases us with these cool and interesting launch liveries, which get people talking, then by the time testing starts, it seems they remember they are a boring corporate F1 team and they clearly feel they can't do anything too exciting with their actual design. And in 3rd place, it's a shock. With Red Bull out of the frame, it's sister team Toro Rosso who steals the march on its older sibling. The blue, silver, and red is clearly loved by many and scored highly across our panel. But these are journalists, so there's always one who won't like it, and that man is Autosport's Ed Straw. He says it looks like a messy, incoherent, abandoned first draft of its big brother team's iconic livery. Looks like your colleagues didn't agree, Ed. Now, down to the final two, and if you've been paying attention, well, you've probably figured out who they are. But before we get to that, let's have a quick look at the voting from positions 10 through 3. In 10th and last place, we have Williams with 29 points. In 9th, Racing Point with 33. Then we've got McLaren with 37. Renault in 7th place with 43 points. ALFA-ROMEO in 6th with 58. Haas F1 team with 59. In 4th position, Red Bull with 64. And in 3rd, its sister team, Toro Rosso with 65. And so to the best liveries of Formula 1 2019. I feel like we should have a drum roll on this. So, in 2nd place with 78 points and just 6 points behind the winner is Mercedes. The latest version of the Petronas livery with a host of fresh design accents certainly proved a hit with our panelists. Reporter Jamie Klein says of the W10, the temptation to just leave the trademark silver livery alone must have been strong. But the dark gray on the engine cover with miniature three-pointed stars is a nice touch that shows some serious thought was put into this year's colors. So let's take a quick look at our voting from positions 10 through 2nd with Mercedes in a clear 2nd place. Which leads us to number 1 in our best liveries of Formula 1 2019, and the winner is, of course, Ferrari. And as your host, well, I get the honors of giving my opinion on the gorgeous-looking SF90. Well, I love that they changed it up this year, even if only for performance reasons. I think it is a breath of fresh air. I think the matte paint has given the car a much-needed aggressive look. That, coupled with the new black accents along the lower body, have made the SF90 a mean-looking championship contender. Well, let's hope it's as fast as it looks. So we'll leave you with the final scores, with Ferrari topping the charts, dropping only 16 points on a maximum 100 available. Thanks for watching our countdown. I'm Julia Piquet, and we'll see you later.